Hello everybody, this is Tortoise or Želvík in Czech, and welcome to the new Keep Talking Nomadic Sports tutorials. Today we're covering the module called the Krutá, which is a tougher version of a module duck, as you can kind of guess. This time we'll need some parts of edge work, but I will not write it down, since we'll just go through it as we see it. You can see that the module looks very similar. There are three differences, apparently, but yeah. One of them is there are two colors instead of one, meaning two different colors, not just like shadows, or how do you say it? Like, if it's blue and that it's lighter blue, then it's the same color. This is obviously red and yellow. Red and orange. So there are two different colors. The second difference is that there's a pattern on the module, not just like 3D vertical stripes as on the duck module, but actually a pattern, meaning there can be either polka dots, which are just dots filled in. Then we can have vertical stripes, horizontal stripes, which is what we have here, and rings, which are like circles without the filling. So there's the second difference. The third difference is that the module's background, or I don't know, hinges and stuff, is red, because it's cruel version of the module. So as expected, or as it usually is, it's red. Okay, so what do we need to do? First, as a diffuser, we need to give out the to the expert the pattern on the module, and obviously announce that it's cruel duck, not just normal duck. Okay, so we have horizontal stripes. This will give us the location of the duck's living. So it either can live in a farm, pond, shelter, or be domesticated, therefore probably live in someone's home or something. So here we have a shelter duck. Okay, and now we need the personality of the duck. For the personality, as on the previous version of the module, so the duck module, we have to use the color. However, now we have two colors, so we have to first decide which of those two to use, and then use it to determine the personality. We have red and orange. This is another part we have to give up to our expert. And how to decide which one of those we'll use? We'll always use the color that's more on the top or more on the bottom. More to the bottom, usually it's more to the bottom, according to this rule. If we have less than 2 batteries, therefore 1 or 0 batteries, then we'll take the color that is above the other color, therefore red in this case, and otherwise we prioritize the color that is below, meaning that red, green, blue, yellow, purple, orange are in this particular order from top to bottom. This is the most on the top, this is the most on the bottom. Okay, so how many batteries do we have? We have 2. 2 batteries are not less than 2 batteries. We need 1 or 0. Therefore, we use the otherwise rule, which is we'll use the bottom color, or the color that is more to the bottom, which in this case is orange. And we have personality Duckman. Okay, this is a personality called Duckman. Now, however, we should just obviously go for it and go for the duck, yeah. But since this is a cruel duck, there's now not 100% chance that behind the curtains there's actually a duck. If we click it, in this case there is, but usually, or I mean not usually, but often there is not a duck, and there's something else. What it can be, we'll cover in a second. Because of that, you should only decide like on which color to use and blah 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 after you click the curtains, but before you give out the colors, obviously. So now it's the duck. We did the big reveal, and we can see that we actually have the third case. These are the other two cases. We can have nothing behind it, or a pelican. But we had a duck. This is a duck, obviously. So we'll use the third case, which is approach. We always approach our ducks. We have our personality, Duckman. You can see that the other personalities may look a bit weird, but like this is always you can always read out what personality it is, and also it's in the order. So this is open book, open book. Introvert means it keeps it to itself. This is the introvert. Diva is the duck is gracious being acting like a diva. Yeah. Then we have mechanical duck, which is mechanical. Self-aware duck is self-aware duck, and duckman is a duckman. So obviously, like to convert these into these isn't that hard. It's just in the order. By the way, these descriptions aren't that important. The only thing that matters for the module to be solved is actually the personality type. And this is the duckman. Now, the right side in the approach table are important because we have to not only click the right button, which is the first we can do, or actually the only one we can do. This is not who's on first. This is like if otherwise cases. And we have to use, or we might use, some items which are available on this module. So now we should sneak unless it lives in a pond or shelter. So we sneak if we don't live in a pond and we don't live in a shelter. However, our duck had horizontal stripes, which means it does live in a shelter, therefore cancelling the sneak condition. So we should not approach at all. So, as I said, we always approach our ducks. You can see that it's not like really the case. We can just not approach. If you click any of these items or any of the buttons that are wrong, you will receive a strike. Since we click don't approach without an item, because it didn't require any, if it doesn't require any items, we don't use any items. And now you can see, similar to the duck module, we can just press some of the parts on the duck. According to what we did, we didn't approach at all. So, in that case, it's kind of mini unicorn rule. We should press an afro, and you can see the parentheses if the module isn't already solved. This is because sometimes when you don't approach at all, the module just solves and you don't need to click anything. So in that case, we click afro, and the module solves. So yeah, that's also a case. Now you cannot click anything, or you can, but it doesn't do the squawk sound. Okay, so for that alarm clock. And let's do another example. We have a lot of examples to cover yet. So now we have the polka dots. This is what the polka dots look like. Just filled circles. We have green and red. We have 2 batteries, which is not less than 2, therefore the card that is most to the bottom, which is green. And green is keeping to itself, therefore the second here is introvert. We didn't need to do this, we just needed to mark green. And now click this. You can see now there's no duck. If there's no duck, we have to go to... There's nothing behind it. If there's nothing behind it, we go to the part in the here. If there's nothing behind it, it's actually in the big reveal part. Then you have to take all the numbers in the serial number and add them up. So you can see we can need a serial number as well. We add them up. 1 plus 5 is 6. That's all the digits. We have 6. Now we will subtract a 5. Be careful about subtracting 5. We're actually like not adding and subtracting 10, but 5. Therefore for 13, we just subtract 5 and get an 8. Until we get a number between 0 and 9, obviously. Since we had 6, 6 is already between 0 and 9, therefore we keep it. If we, as I showed, had a 13, we would have to subtract 5 to get 8, and 8 is already in that range, so we would keep an 8. So be careful, it's not the last digit, it's actually like this. Okay, and for 6, we have to press the module on the black part when the last digit of the timer is a 6. So let's do this. This is 0, this is a 9, this is an 8, this is a 7, this is a 6. When we do, the module solves. Obviously then I can still keep clicking it, but since the timer stopped, I cannot show you what would happen if this is incorrect. I assume it doesn't strike you since the duck part didn't strike you, but I cannot really like tell you for sure. Okay, let's do another example. Now we have vertical stripes, so we have a pond duck. We had farm duck, shelter duck, now we have a pond duck. Red and yellow are the colors. We have a lot of batteries, so we would use the bottom color again. If there's a duck, and there is, so we use the mechanical duck because it's somewhat mechanical. Mechanical means we should run, and you can see we now need another part of the edge work. This is, as I said, on contra from the normal deduct module. This is not who's on first, that you do the first you can. You always have just one option to do. I think there's also a case where you can, yeah, like in Diva, in the otherwise rule, you can walk with a slice of cake, a kite, or a bell, so you can actually choose what item to use, and then it kind of moves something. But you usually have just one option, at least in cases of pressing these buttons. You'll always press one of these buttons deterministically, and sometimes you can choose some items, sometimes you have to pick, sometimes you cannot pick. So we should run if there is a lit sig indicator or unlit bulb indicator. Lit sig I don't see, and unlit bulb I don't see. So the OR condition is false because none of those are true. So we go to the otherwise. We should fly if the duck is not domesticated. So if we didn't have rings. We did not. It lives on a pond, so it's not domesticated. So yes, we fly. Otherwise, we would walk with a slice of cake. You can see cake is an option, but walk is not. So we fly. And since it doesn't specify an item, we just fly without an item. Now we flew, yeah, that's the past tense. And if we flew, we should be pressing the beak. You can see that there are other options, like if we walk, then it splits into walk empty-handed, if we had other item than cake, then we would press some these, and if we had cake, we would press this when 2 seconds of the digits add up to 7. If we ran, again, it splits, and so on and so on. So according to the items, it actually can have different outcomes. Just in the dive, fly, and no approach cases, we have just one option, which is beak.
Hey, KTaNE, great.
Also, in the dive option, you can see we have afro, if it's not already solved. Oh, I mean, when you have an even number of solves and so on, so there are even these conditions which have to be respected. And then we have like belly, beak, right foot, and so on. So we have a sequence of like duck parts, not just one duck part. That is because when you press the duck, it will not just solve, but it will just squawk. In that case, you have to press the another part that is in the sequence, list sequence. And again, it can squeak, and you need to pressing the next parts until it will solve. Obviously, if you have just 3 options, it will solve after 2 squeaks at most. Maybe it will solve after 0 squeaks as well. So this is also something to be aware of. Okay, let's just grind more. Now we have polka dots again. As I said, ranks would not be filled. So this is polka dots. So I have farm duck, red and blue. We click. It is a duck. We have more than 2 batteries, or 2 or more, I should say. So it's again the color that is more to the bottom. Blue means that it's a gracious being, acting like a diva. Otherwise, third from the top. So we should dive if there's RJ present. Do we have an RJ port? We don't. So we walk with a slice of cake, a kite, or a bell. I will show you now if I take a... Oh, what did I click? I didn't mean to. If we take a cake, we always have to press the items before you do the action, because you first have to pick it up, and take it with you. So we take a cake. Now, other items are not available, and we should walk. So we do walk. we should write down or remember that we worked with a slide of case. So walking, and that's empty-handed, no. Other item than cake, no. We had cake, so we should press I when digits add up to 7. Okay, so it will be 0, 7. So this is 0, 9, 8, 7. And the module solves. If we took cake, or, if we took kite or a bell, in both these cases, we would get to this solution. Therefore, we would press the left foot, and if it's not solved, then the tail, and if it's not solved, then the beak. And it solves. So it just here you should always be picking the kite or a bell because it's just easier if you know which foot is left and which foot is right. As before, as on the normal module, left foot means from your perspective, so this foot is left, and this is the right foot. From the duck's perspective is the other way, so be careful about it. Okay, let's go. We have a lot of things to cover yet. Okay, this is horizontal stripe, so shelter duck. We have red and purple we can click, and it's a duck. So number of batteries is not less than 2, therefore we are purple. Purple is self-aware duck. Self-aware means sneak with a book or pencil if there is more than one port plate. How many port plates do we have? We have just one. Is one just more than one? No, it's not. So we should sneak. You can see that we sneak in both cases. Just in the first case, we sneak with a book or a pencil. Which has actually no effect on the outcome. So maybe there will just be one available. Sometimes there are both, so we can choose. But now we don't have. We actually have to not to choose any items because we don't have more than one port plate, and so we just sneak. Since we just snuck, and we were empty-handed, we should press left foot, beak, afro, and tail. So let's go with this sequence. Left foot from our perspective, and you can see it just squawks. When I click it again, it would strike us because we have to press the next item in the sequence, which would be the beak. And the duck may just squawk again, and afro would just squawk again, and tail would solve it, or it can solve on any of these parts before. So that's something I've showed. If you want the duck to be more squawky, like to do squawk, quack, 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 then go to the normal duck, solve it, and then play with it. On the crow duck, this is not possible. Okay, so now we have, again, horizontal stripe, so shelter duck. We have green and purple. Clicking it's a duck. Is that less than 2? No. So again, purple duck, again self-aware. Do we have more than one port plate? No, it's the same case. It's the same bomb, obviously, so we just sneak. And again, we go empty-handed, so left foot, squawk, then beak, quack, then afro. And you can see we didn't need to press the tail this time, but in some cases you have to. Okay? So we still didn't get a pelican, but now for the first time we got rings. That's perfect. So we have rings which are orange and purple. It's a duck. Okay. What am I searching for? Batteries. Okay. Finally we have less than 2 batteries, so we're using the color that is above the other color, so purple, meaning that's a self-aware duck. Since we have just one port plate, which is not more than one, therefore we just sneak. And now we do the same thing as before. So sneak empty-handed means we go left foot, beak, and this time beak solved it. Okay, rings again, this time it's red-green, and there's nothing behind it. So let's just do the normal thing. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 is already in the range of 0 and 9, so we just have to click it on 9, which I did. Pop, 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 indeed. We continue our grind for the pelicans. So vertical is living in a pond. We have red and orange. We click. Oh, it's a duck. We have more, therefore orange. Oh, yeah, you know what I meant. Orange is duckman. Does it live in a pond or shelter? It does, so we don't sneak and we don't approach. Okay, we didn't approach and it didn't solve, therefore we just press an afro. Yeah, you have to highlight it correctly. I have sometimes problem with that in this module. So we have polka dots, which is purple and blue. We click. It's a duck, obviously. It's always a duck. Purple means sneaking. Sneaking. We have two or more purples this time. At least something is new. Therefore, we should sneak with a pencil or a book. You can see that we have both options available. This time I'll, for example, choose the pencil. We sneak, and since we snuck with item, we just press the belly, which is this part. Left foot, right foot, tail, afro, beak, eye, belly. Okay, I got that. And maybe finally the little pelican. This is horizontal, blue, purple, pelican. Perfect. So this is how pelicans look. If it's not damn another damn pelican, it is. You can see that the options are a bit different this time because we do not like pelicans. If you do not like pelicans, I completely understand you. I like pelicans, but that's not what I meant. We have the second options. Since we don't like pelicans, we like ducks. Then we don't approach, but there's not option for not approaching. We do the reverse approach. Reverse approach is listed at the end of the manual part, which is here, and we need a last digit of the serial number for that. So our last digit is 0, which means we use this row. Now it's the same like as in Who's on First. You do the first action that is available on the module. This time we shoot the sky with a shotgun. You can see this time the option is available, but sometimes it doesn't have to be. For example, if it wasn't there, then we have to walk with tennis racket, which we could do, so we would do it. And if this wouldn't be available as well, then there has to be an available option, kick with boots, and we would click that. But since we have available the first one, we click it. If we click the wrong one, it would just reset the module and so on. And you can see that now the pelican is gone because we scared it away. But now there's nothing. So we have to also do the nothing behind it. So that's the same thing like if there's nothing behind it. So we add up all the digits in the serial number, which is 13. 13 we have to subtract, or not a real add, always subtract, because it cannot be negative and 0 is already what is accepted. So we have to subtract 5 until we're in the range of 0 to 9 inclusively. 13 minus 5 is an 8, and 8 is already in that range, so we click it on an 8. So I have to just wait for an 8. If we click it any other time, we'll just get a strike. This is 10, 9, and 8, and the module solves. Okay, I think we covered all the good things. Now let's see what happens if we're wrong. So obviously when you click the curtains, if you didn't like note what colors were there and stuff, you can see that orange is a lot darker than yellow. You can kind of see that these batteries are dark yellow. Yellow would be even lighter, but yep. So if you didn't notice, if you didn't write it down and you clicked it, then obviously you have no other way to get it back if you needed it. You can see that in this particular example we didn't need it because for pelicans we do not need the personality of the duck or where it lives. Yeah, the other way, but whatever. Okay, but the only option to get it back is like to guess and either to solve the module or to get a strike and to get it reset. The module doesn't have a souvenir, but it is considered for it. Okay, so how would we solve it? For 6, we should throw tomato on it. We can. Obviously, if we don't do it and we for example don't see it and click something else, either the option that is in the sequence afterwards or just wrong thing, then we would just get a strike and the module would reset. You can see that now the colors are different. Even the pattern can reset. So if we click it, you can see now there's no the pelican. So it's not always after striking on a pelican that there will be another pelican. It doesn't have to be. For this duck, we have a blue this time, which is gray should be diva. RJ we do not have, so we work with slice of cake, kite or bell. You can see that now we have one only option being a kite because there's no cake and there's no bell. This is a bomb, this is Benson, this is a book, this is a kite. So we should, in theory, press kite and then walk. If we just walk without it, then we reset the module because it's strike. Okay, and obviously the only thing we didn't cover, yeah, two things. Okay, we have orange and yellow. For orange and yellow, which is the top one, which is a mechanical duck. Lit sig is not present. Unlit bob is not present. It's not domesticated. It's in a farm, so we should just fly. And if you try to take some items, when you should just fly and not take any, then the module reset as well. If you take wrong items, it will reset, and so on. If there's nothing at all, I'll try to get a nothing at all. Yep. Then, obviously, if you click at wrong time, now we should click at not 1, but 6, because we should subtract 5, and we have 11 as a sum of the all digits. So we click at 1 instead of 6, then the module resets again. Okay, so I'll solve this one, the last one. We had purple and green vertical dots. For purple and green and just one batteries, we have the green one. Green one is an introvert, and it does live or does not live in a pond. It does, so we have to fly without taking an item. When we do, we flew without taking an item, which is a beak. If in this case, obviously, you click any of the parts wrong, the module will reset, but we already showcased that. So, with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was kind of hectic, but it's very really easy principles of the module. The module has really easy principles. There's just lots of things that can be covered. I think we didn't really cover like this, but it's kind of obvious what to do. You just click the belly, then the tail when this condition applies, and then the right foot. Yeah, we covered this, and 5 inner timer meaning any of these being a 5. And also there was this, so we click solve modules. Yeah, this is the one. Dive, we should press an afro when you have an even number of solves. So you have to have an even number of solves. If you have 2 modules, I guess, and both of them are curl duck and both of them are diving, then it's kind of impossible, I would say. But I don't know like really the particular case. I cannot really tell you like what would happen. If you want to test it, you can, but I think it's not a problem. If you have a lot of modules or just one modules, or like not all modules being curl duck, then and at the same time even a variant of modules, and then at the same time being super unlucky, then probably this is fine. So with that, thank you for watching. If you have any concerns, questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below. If you like this video, leave a like, or the other way, obviously. And this was Želvík. See you in the next one. Bye bye.